The very first thing I did as a child was to draw. What really opened my eyes was the sheer demand for video content. It is enormous. Every journey is almost different. I started off watching videos on how to do stuff on YouTube, trying to practicalize it with whatever little resources that I had. Monetizing your art or your skill requires you to learn a lot of things. One moment that was very, very, important and very crucial for me was when I worked for a brand that I have known since I was a child. It was so amazing. Start with whatever you have. I know this sounds cliche, but you need to just get started. Things will eventually work out. Honestly, the world is your oyster. You need to learn to manage your finance. You need to learn structure and discipline. You need to learn how to sell yourself. If I were to go back to when I was young with the knowledge that I currently have, I'll tell myself not to hesitate to do stuff. Things don't have to be perfect before I get them done.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Yakha Time episode where we bring you fresh career-related content. And we are having our career and growth series. I have someone really special with me, get ready, and he's going to introduce himself very soon. So the next voice you hear will be that of my guest.
Hello everybody, and my name is Love Olufemi. I'm a cinematographer and video editor, and I'm here live at Yakha Time. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Great. So I'll be going to the first question, and this is how it goes. So when you were growing up, I want to know, were you always that creative child, or what were things that you used to do before you eventually picked up the camera?
Okay, so yes, I could say I was always a creative child. Some of the things that I did before picking up a camera was drawing, painting, art, music, and I'm grateful that I had the chance to explore my childhood. I had a lot of opportunities to explore all of those things, art, music, and stuff like that. So it helped me find myself. It helped me build myself to the point that I am today. Thank you.
Okay, great, awesome.
Mhm.
So my second question will be around how you got to this point. So can you just follow on from where you stopped at the things you used to do? How did you get to this point? Just tell us about that story.
Well, okay, the very first thing I did as a child was to draw. I started drawing and then I started painting. So that was one of the first mediums that I used to express interest in creativity. From that point on, I think I started music. I love music. I learned to play piano, drums. I learned music production. I learned songwriting, poetry, and all of those things. So it was from that point that I transitioned to video, visuals.
So what people will usually see are the final videos online, the nice IG reels, the nice videos on YouTube and all that. But what is your typical day like? Just run us through how your day goes. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming you mean a day on set
A day on
or
set,
just a
yeah.
typical day in my life?
No,
Okay, all right,
typical
okay.
day on set, right? As a
Uh,
cinematographer and a video editor.
Okay, well, a day on set it's an amazing experience. It can be really stressful. So the thing is, plans always change. That's one thing. Plans always change last minute. You can never be over prepared. You can prepare, you can prepare for every single thing, and then something random can happen, like rain or
Tell me
So a
about
typical
it.
day on set involves me running through my pre-production schedule or list. I usually have some sort of short list or some things that I want to achieve that day. So I'm going through that last minute and I'm just trying to finalize on the things that I need to do. Then I get on set. Then there's a whole lot of reiteration, if that makes sense. So for you to get that perfect shot, for you to get that perfect video, there's a lot of hard work and you might have to do that multiple times.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part of it, we want to get the best out of the work that we're doing. So that is just, one of the things that, goes behind shooting good visuals.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to know that defining moment that convinced you that filmmaking was going to be more than just a hobby. What happened? You can run us through that experience or the story. How did we get to this point? Right. What was that defining moment for you?
Okay, I think what really opened my eyes was the sheer demand for video content. It is enormous. Like a lot of people say, social media is changing, everything is shifting to more of, video content, and the creator economy is booming. There's like an ever-growing demand for video. So I was alive back when, TV was still a thing. At least I experienced a little bit of TV. I saw when TV was a thing. And but then I also witnessed that slow but sure transition to more of social media content. So I saw it in real time. I saw the need for more content, for more videos, for more movies, more TV shows, more than ever. And that just clicked for me. I was like, there's a demand for this thing. So this can actually be my career. I can make it in this. So that was that moment for me.
Yeah, awesome. When you mentioned when TV was still a thing, it's amazing. All people have TV in their houses.
I mean,
But I can't remember the last time I watched TV.
mm-hmm.
Right? It's either I'm seeing stuff on my laptop or on my phone, but I can't really remember the last time. But it's like a prestige item. You should have TV, right? You should see TV in some places. And these days, even we use TVs for presentation.
Yeah.
We use it to as against, I want to watch TV.
Yes.
I think the match that happened a while ago, I saw different people. They were in a group, they were watching the match, but they were all on their phones.
Yes,
I'm like, okay, you are watching the match on your phones individually together. Like, that was interesting.
It's crazy.
So I totally understand. Yeah. Now, my next question is, did you learn filmmaking and video editing together? And then how did you learn them? Were you self-taught? Did you I just want to know how that process went. Just tell us how you went about learning these things.
For me, it was a combination of everything that you had said. I would say I'm self-taught, as well as it's a combination of everything. I started off watching YouTube. I started off watching videos on how to do stuff on YouTube as early as back when I started. So that was it. I was consuming a whole lot of content back then, just learning anything that I could, lay my hands on, and trying to practicalize it with whatever little resources that I had. So I would say like 70% of what I know, I just learned it from online. But then during the course of the journey, I'd also attended some trainings. Along the way, I've been on set, I've had practical experience. So it's just a combination of both. Okay. So if you are wondering what the best way is to get started, the best way is to just get started with whatever resources you have available. You can start by watching videos, taking courses, and however way. Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you so much. So I have this question I want to ask. Mm-hmm. It is not a normal question, but I'll just ask it before we move to the remaining part of the interview. Okay. So what's the funniest moment that you've ever experienced, like funniest thing that has happened on set? Just tell us about it. Just tell us a story or something.
The funniest thing that has happened to me on set. Yeah. Okay, let me think for a few minutes.
I would have said most embarrassing, but that doesn't look nice. But if you want to give us most embarrassing on sets, anywhere.
One thing that is coming to my mind right now is, so when you are shooting on sets, on a movie set, for example, and when the actors are, they're acting, obviously, they're doing their performance. So one thing that always makes me laugh or that cracks me up is when immediately after the actor is done, with like an intense scene or a scene that involves a lot of emotions, and then right after, as soon as the camera cuts and they start laughing, or they start doing something that is completely unrelated. So that always, it makes me laugh.
Yeah, great, awesome. So now, my next question is: every creative has moments of self-doubt. Mm-hmm. So what has been like your biggest challenge in your journey, and how did you overcome it? So tell us about the challenge, maybe story behind it or so, and then how you overcame it.
Creativity is such a unique journey, such a unique career path. And one of the things that was very nerve-wracking for me personally was that there isn't necessarily any definite structure, It's like, okay, if you want to become a doctor, this is how you do. You go to the university for 8 years, you study this, you graduate, you do this. So but then for creative parts, there isn't a properly defined route that, oh, if you do this, you go to film school for this. No, no, no. Every journey is almost different. Every journey is very different. So you just take whatever it is, and with consistency, you keep going, and you know that eventually you'll succeed. So that's it.
Okay, great. So for you, no challenge at all.
Oh, plenty of challenges. Do you want
Okay,
me to,
just
to talk about that?
Yeah. You can just anyone you're comfortable sharing.
Okay, well, the lack of structure is a challenge for me. Basically, learning to interact with people, with clients, learning to monetize my skill is also.
You see, you're just giving us gems. You talked about the lack of structure, relating with people, because you seem like a very quiet person. I'm also reserved.
Yes. Oh my God.
I know some people think I'm loud, but I had to learn it actually. And then also monetizing your skills.
Yes.
Yeah. So anything else around challenges,
honestly,
and then just how you overcame it. So
I would say that monetizing your art or your skill requires you to learn a lot of things. Some of those things you might not be comfortable with. Like she said, one of those things for me was speaking to people, having a social life. I'm a huge introvert. I'm very socially awkward, but it was something that I have to learn, and I'm still learning, interacting with people, selling myself. A lot of times you need to talk, which I find strange.
you want to write?
I believe that my art should speak for itself, but your art doesn't always speak for it. Sometimes you have to actually be loud. You have to be in people's faces. You also have to learn a lot about actually building a career. Doing businesses, doing paperwork, learning about finances, contracts, and all of those things. So I believe some of that was challenging for me because I was just learning how to shoot the best video. But nobody told me that I had to also learn to monetize it, prioritize all these other different aspects that might not necessarily be related to video. So learning and continually learning and improving myself, I would say that was one of the challenges that I faced, and I'm still going through it.
Great, awesome. Thank you for those things that you mentioned, because those things are key. They're not related to video editing or cinematography at all. But there are things that people need to know, that you need to learn how to sell yourself, you need to speak, right? Relate with people and all that. So I would like to know one moment in your career that you are particularly proud of, and then what made it memorable, right? And what did you learn from it? Just you can share with us a story.
One moment that was very, very, important and very crucial for me was when I worked for a brand that I have known since I was a child.
Wow.
So shooting for that, it was so amazing, because I'm like, oh my God, this was one of the brands that I used to watch on TV when I was growing up. So actually working for this brand, like actually creating content for this brand, felt like a full circle moment for me.
Wow.
So I was very, very satisfied.
Wow,
with that.
I can imagine that feeling. I can imagine it. It's also that type of feeling that when you go back to maybe your secondary school or your university, depending on how long, and then you possibly walk into the same class and you sit on the chair and it feels so low or things like that. I can imagine. And then for you, the impact that you had to make.
It's an amazing experience. Knowing that I envisioned this moment and I'm actually living this moment. It's such an amazing feeling.
Wow, so, it is. Okay, so if most of our viewers are admission seekers, people that are undergrads, and also people that are fresh graduates starting off, and then a couple of others. But now, if, for instance, a 20-year-old walks up to you, or maybe 17 or a slightly older, to say, I want to become a video editor, but I don't have the money to get expensive equipment. How do I start off? What are the things you say to that person?
I don't want to be cliche and just say that, oh, you don't need the best, equipment and all of that. But the truth is, having access to gear or some stuff definitely helps. It can be, it can actually be something that will hold you back, having access to too much. But then start with whatever you have. I know this sounds cliche, but you need to just get started. Things will eventually work out. If you are genuinely passionate about, oh, I really want to do this, it might seem hard at first. Like I remember when I was starting out, it did not really make a lot of sense. But with consistency and just get started. That's the truth. You don't need the bestest of gear or the most fanciest of equipment or access to some of the best stuff. Just get started at every at whatever point you are. You can get started and you can create something, and you can always grow with consistency and effort. Yeah.
Okay, are there one or two resources that maybe you might want to mention? They don't have to be hard stuff, like maybe things to do, or so I don't know.
Um, Honestly, the world is your oyster. In this age, it's a digital age, there's AI, you have access to countless resources. There's anything you possibly want to learn, you can learn it. If you're just determined and you want to put in a bit of effort, you can go online, you can go on YouTube, you can find courses that are free, you can find resources online.
Great.
So there's no limit to the amount of resources that are available. Take advantage of that.
Okay, great. So we are going to move a little bit off the shooting and editing
Yeah.
videos to what are other key skills that you think young creatives should learn to be able to succeed in this day and age, in today's growing creative industry? What are other key skills that you think they should look at learning?
Okay, so just off of the top of my head, finances, you need to learn to manage your finance. You need to learn structure and discipline. You need to learn how to sell yourself. That's personal branding, or maybe not personal branding, but branding for your art. You need to learn that. So, yeah.
Okay, so finances, how to sell yourself. Not
Yeah.
it's not particularly personal, but
Yeah.
for your art.
And structure.
Okay, structure. So we are at the final question, right? And then this one, I think I will want you to breathe in and breathe out for it,
Okay.
right? Because it has to do with if you were to go back to the beginning of your journey,
Yeah.
right? What are top three things that you would do differently? So if you were to go back to the beginning of your journey, what are top three things that you would do differently?
I don't know if there are up to three things, but I would tell, I would, if I were to go back to when I was young with the knowledge that I currently have, I'll tell myself to not to hesitate to do stuff. I'll tell myself that things don't have to be perfect before I get them done. I'll tell myself to start. Don't overthink. Don't overstress about certain things. If you are worried about waiting for the perfect time to get things done, you will not do anything, or you will do it very late. And so I'll tell myself not to overthink, not to wait till everything is perfect, and to just go for the things that you want to do. So yeah, that's it.
Great, awesome. I think it was really nice listening to you speak.
Absolutely.
You are a calm person, but the interesting thing is that you have a lot of insightful things when you speak, and it's clear the type of things that you saw, the challenges you saw, and then how you were able to overcome them. I like the fact that you also emphasized on finances.
Yeah.
You also learning how to sell yourself. So even if you are calm, it's showing that see this thing is something that you have to learn for yourself. And I really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah.
So viewers, you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Yakha Time, and please join us next week for another amazing episode. However, before you go, you have to share. Ensure you have subscribed and like, and tell us maybe other things you want to say in the comments. So let's say bye to our viewers.
Bye.